Their brains are 4 by 400 meter relays, and teachers, sometimes we're the slowest leg. Thoroughbred imaginations that never wanted to be show horses, but we saddle them with our baggage anyways. The second thing you'll learn is that creativity doesn't need training wheels. Creativity will find a better way to get there than bike.
Anthony A, Young and Free on the Road. Hakim B, Poet Laureate, is that correct?
That's it.
That's the correct pronunciation. And MC.
YouTube, I'm amazing. Used to be braggadocious, now we rap about nonsense. Back when Wayne was a birdling and Birdman was Brian. I ain't lying.
You earned the prestigious title of Poet Laureate amongst Albuquerque and also kind of being the face of New Mexico poetry. Talk a little bit about the road to that, where you got from point A to point B.
Sure. You know, like any other thing that people do in life, there is nothing new under the sun, right? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I like to think that when I came here in 2005, I was the right person at the right time for a foundation that had been built long before I got here. So there were a lot of people, specifically in the poetry, performance poetry or slam as it's called, movement, that I always have to give props to, because when I arrived here, I had heard about them, right? Like I had heard about Ken Rodriguez, I had heard about Don McIver, Matthew John Connolly, who's no longer here, Danny Solis, Michaela Renz, Susan McAllister, and these are all the people that kind of helped really, when I moved here in 2005, which was January 15th, 2005, they were already knee-deep in planning the National Poetry Slam, which would be happening the following August in 2005. And I really kind of walked into a really good situation.
Some of the best poems aren't bound by paper. They're perfectly binded to adolescent spines, and if we turn their mouths into open books, they will read for the rest of their lives. The sixth thing they taught me was, you learn more in a single instance of raising your hand and being wrong than a dozen times of raising your hand and being right. So we can read what we already know people like, or we can try and be liked.
I think that what Albuquerque has been able to do successfully is distinguish itself not regionally, but nationally as a place that's unique and that's different. And I think that it shows in our poetry, it shows in our music, it shows in even in the past 5 or 10 years when films were really bustling here. Look at the films that came out of here, like No Country for Old Men. Like some of these films were just like, they could have only been filmed in New Mexico. Like where else were you going to do that? Like, you know, so I feel like that's what we've been able to develop as artists across genres, but especially in poetry. It's like it's worked for us because we've always been the team in any poetry situation or competition that's been like not trying to sound like New York or sound like LA. We've just been kind of really done our own thing, and you know, as 50 said, hate it or love it. Like
cars. We've moved people in mixed razas. We've got an appointment with the curandera as soon as we leave the doctors.
Big risk, big reward, as they say at the Anderson School of Business. like if you bet $10, you might win 100. If you bet $1,000, you might win $1 million. Like, so I feel like when you say you're going to be an artist and you say this is my career, I invest all the time. I invest my time, and my time is money. Especially, I'm a 4-year-old. You guys might see his head bobbing around here, but like, you know what I'm saying, I'm a parent of a 4-year-old, so my time is money, because I always conceptualize it as anytime somebody has me doing something away from my son, they're renting me from him. Yeah, they are renting his daddy's time. Like, you know,
traditional, where our children dare not say or seek a cuy or la llorona, but our lucky Santa speaks Spanglish and has a sweet tooth for leche bizcochitos. Where
the goal for a slam poet is to not be considered a slam poet, and not because you don't love where you're from, because I love where I'm from. Like, I'll always be a slam poet because I kind of the way I came to poetry was through a slam. But I think that when you've arrived, if you will, it's when people really don't know how to classify you or categorize you. Like, you've published some stuff, you've put some stuff on walls, you've put some stuff in buses, you've written for television, you've written for film, you've done some commercials over here, you do music. Like, to me, like, now they're like, I don't even know what he is. Like, he's a 3-point threat. Like, he can pull up and shoot the J, he can drive. Like, you know, I think that's when you really when you're beyond classification, then you've kind of arrived as a slam poet.
The Great Spirit created America and the earth, and it was bueno. I don't speak perfect English, barely even passable Spanish, but it's okay, because there's no such thing as perfect English, except for the word Nuevo Mexico.